Alright, fellas, let's talk about a modern-day treasure hunt. Imagine finding a 2017 Lincoln penny and realizing it's worth a staggering $1 million. Yeah, I know, it sounds crazy. How can a penny from just a few years ago be worth that kind of money? Well, today, we're diving deep into the story of the 2017 Lincoln penny that sold for an unbelievable amount. I'll tell you why it's so rare, how you can spot one, and what the market looks like for these valuable pennies right now, and trust me, you're gonna want to pay attention to this one, because this isn't some old 1800s coin that's impossible to find. This is a penny that might still be sitting in your change jar right now. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll be checking every penny you come across. A few years ago, I was at a gas station, paying for my coffee. I got my change back, and I didn't even look at it, just shoved it in my pocket like everyone else does. Later that night, I emptied my pockets and dumped my change on the dresser. Now, I don't usually check my pennies that closely, but for some reason, one of them stood out. It was a 2017 Lincoln penny, and something about it looked different. I grabbed my magnifier, took a closer look, and that's when my heart skipped a beat. There was something unusual about the lettering, and the details on Lincoln's face looked sharper than usual. Could this be one of those rare minting errors collectors are always talking about? I got excited, did some research, and ended up sending it off for grading. Turns out, it wasn't the $1 million one, but it was rare enough that I sold it for over $5,000. And that got me thinking, how many people have spent a fortune without even realizing it? That's why I'm making this video. Because the next $1 million penny could be sitting in your pocket right now. Now, let's get into what makes this 2017 Lincoln penny worth so much money. Most pennies from 2017 aren't worth more than a cent. The Denver Mint produced over 1 billion of them. But every once in a while, a mistake at the mint creates a super rare error coin, and that's exactly what happened with this one. Some of these 2017 pennies were struck twice by mistake, creating a doubling effect on Lincoln's face, the date, and the words, "In God We Trust." These errors are extremely rare, and collectors pay huge money for them. Some of these pennies were struck off-center, meaning the design isn't perfectly aligned. These mistakes can make a coin highly valuable. Some versions of this penny were accidentally struck on the wrong metal planchet, giving them a unique color and weight. The 2017 penny that sold for $1 million was graded in near-perfect condition. The fewer scratches and marks a coin has, the higher its value. Put all of these factors together, and you have a penny that's worth a fortune. Alright, now that you know what makes this coin special, let's talk about how you can find one. Look just below the date. If your coin has a D, that means it was minted in Denver. Grab a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe and check the date, Lincoln's eyes, and the lettering for signs of doubling. If the letters look thick or have a shadow effect, you might have a winner. Is the design off-center? Are parts of the lettering cut off? These signs indicate a misaligned die error, which could be worth thousands. A genuine error coin might be struck on the wrong type of metal. If your penny looks odd in color or feels lighter or heavier than usual, it's worth checking out. If you think you found something special, don't sell it to just any dealer. Send it to PCGS or NGC for professional authentication. Now, let's talk numbers. Not every 2017 penny is worth $1 million, but even regular coins in great condition can fetch big money. Most 2017 pennies are only worth 1 to 10 cents, depending on wear. If your penny is in nice shape with minimal wear, it could be worth $50 to $500. High-grade condition, MS67 and above, this is where things get serious. Some of these pennies have sold for $5,000 to $50,000. The 2017 with a double die obverse in MS68 condition is what hit $1 million at auction, and as collectors keep searching for these rare coins, prices are expected to go even higher. Finding a rare penny doesn't require a metal detector or an ancient treasure map. Pennies from 2017 are still out there, floating in circulation. A lot of collectors hunt through bank rolls looking for rare errors. People sell old coins all the time without realizing their value. If you've been saving pennies for years, now's the time to check them. One lucky person turned a 2017 Lincoln penny into $1 million. And the best part? There could be more of these out there just waiting to be discovered. Even if you don't find the $1 million version, checking your change could still land you a penny worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Start checking your pennies. And if you think you found something valuable, drop a comment and let me know. Also, if you love videos about rare and valuable coins, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I've got more insider coin knowledge coming your way, and you won't want to miss it. Alright, fellas, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny? I mean really looked at one, not just tossed it into a jar or left it on the sidewalk. Well, after today's video, I bet you'll be checking every single penny you come across, because believe it or not, a 1987 no-mint mark Lincoln penny sold for a staggering $1.1 million at auction. That's right, one little copper-colored coin, the kind you've probably got sitting in your couch cushions, turned someone into a millionaire. So today, we're going to break it all down. What makes this specific 1987 Lincoln penny so valuable? How can you tell if you have one? And what is the market looking like for these rare finds? Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you might be sprinting to check your coin collection, or even the spare change in your car's cup holder. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I was helping a friend go through a box of old coins he had inherited from his grandfather. Now, he wasn't a collector, he just wanted to know if anything was worth keeping. As we sifted through pennies, nickels, and a couple of old silver coins, I picked up a 1987 Lincoln penny and noticed something was off. It had no mint mark, which is rare for a coin from that year. I told my buddy, hey, you might want to get this checked out. Fast forward a few weeks, and he sent it off for grading. While it wasn't the $1 million version, it still sold for thousands of dollars at auction. And let me tell you, my friend has been checking every single penny he comes across ever since. That's why I'm making this video, because the next big discovery could be sitting in your pocket change right now. So, why is this specific 1987 Lincoln penny without a mint mark worth so much money? Normally, in 1987, pennies were struck at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. The Philadelphia mint usually didn't put a mint mark on pennies, but in some rare cases, an error occurred where a Philadelphia minted coin was struck with a missing mint mark under unusual conditions. A tiny number of these coins were accidentally struck using a special proof die, and this mistake resulted in incredibly sharp details and a different finish than regular circulation pennies. A coin that should have never made it into circulation, making it one of the rarest Lincoln pennies in modern history. And when a collector finally discovered one in perfect condition, the bidding war at auction was insane. That coin sold for an unbelievable $1.1 million. Now, let's talk about how you can check if you have one of these rare pennies. If you have any 1987 Lincoln pennies, here's what to look for. Flip the coin over and look just below the date. If you see a D, Denver, or S, San Francisco, it's not the rare one. But if there's no mint mark at all, you might be onto something. The rarest 1987 no mint mark penny was struck with a proof die, so the details on Lincoln's face, hair, and the lettering should be extra crisp. This ultra-rare version has a slightly glossier or mirror-like surface compared to normal circulation pennies. If your penny has an unusual shine to it, it's worth a second look. Some of these rare pennies also have slight doubling on the lettering in Liberty or In God We Trust. Check carefully with a magnifier. A normal 1987 penny should weigh 2.5 grams, zinc with a copper coating. If yours is noticeably different in weight, it could be an even rarer error. If you think you've got something special, send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC to confirm its authenticity. Not every 1987 penny is worth a fortune, but even regular ones in great condition can bring in solid cash. Most 1987 pennies are only worth face value, but a rare error coin in circulated condition could still sell for $100 to $500. If your penny is in near-perfect shape, it could be worth $1,000 to $10,000. These are the real money makers. Some of these rare no-mint mark pennies have sold for $50,000 to $250,000. The absolute rarest, near-flawless 1987 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, struck with a proof die, sold for $1.1 million, and the demand for these high-grade errors keeps growing, so values could go even higher in the future. You don't need to be a hardcore collector to find a valuable 1987 penny. You'd be amazed at how many rare coins slip through the cracks and end up in circulation, old coin jars and piggy banks. If you've got a stash of pennies lying around, now's the time to dig through them. Some collectors order rolls of pennies from the bank and search for rare finds. Many people sell off old coin collections without realizing their value. Keep an eye out for dealers who might not have checked their inventory carefully. One lucky collector turned a single 1987 Lincoln penny into $1.1 million. And the crazy part? There could be more of these out there, just waiting to be discovered. Even if you don't find the $1 million version, a high-grade 1987 penny can still sell for thousands of dollars. Go check your coins. And if you think you found something special, let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more about rare and valuable coins, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I've got tons of insider coin hunting tips coming your way, and you don't want to miss them. Alright, fellas, let me ask you something. When's the last time you actually stopped and looked at your pennies? I mean, really looked at them? Because if you've got a 2008 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, you might just be sitting on a fortune. That's right, one of these little 1-cent coins sold for a staggering $1.2 million. You heard me right. A single penny that most people wouldn't even bother picking up off the sidewalk turned someone into a millionaire. Now, I know what you're thinking. How in the world can a 2008 penny be worth over $1 million? Well, today we're going to break it all down. We're talking about the current market value for these coins, where you might find one hiding in plain sight. And stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll be digging through your pockets, your old coin jars, and maybe even checking under your couch cushions. Before we dive into the details, let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I was cleaning out my desk and found a handful of loose change. I was about to toss them into a coin jar when I noticed a 2008 penny that looked a little different. At first, I thought nothing of it. It didn't have a mint mark, but I figured, no big deal. But something in my gut told me to take a closer look. So I pulled out my magnifier, and that's when I noticed something strange. The details on Lincoln's face looked crisper than usual, and the coin had a slight doubling on the lettering. That I sent it off to a coin grading service, and while it wasn't the $1 million version, it still turned out to be a rare variety worth hundreds of dollars. How many people have tossed a rare penny into a vending machine without realizing it? And that's why I'm making this video. Because the next big discovery could be in your pocket change right now. Most 2008 pennies were struck at either the Denver Mint, D Mint mark, or the Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, but normal strikes. But here's where it gets interesting. A small number of 2008 Lincoln pennies were struck with a rare minting error that makes them extremely valuable. Some were struck with a unique double die obverse, DDO, meaning the design elements are slightly doubled, making them stand out. Others had a misalignment in the strike, creating a shadow effect around Lincoln's profile. Like the $1.2 million coin, were struck on the wrong planchet. This means they were accidentally made using a different type of metal than a regular penny. Now, here's the kicker. If your 2008 no-mint mark penny has the right error and is in top-notch condition, it could be worth a life-changing amount of money. So, how do you know if you're holding onto a jackpot penny? A normal 2008 penny from the Philadelphia Mint will have no mint mark, but that alone doesn't make it valuable. It needs to have additional rare features. Look closely at the words Liberty and In God We Trust. If the letters appear slightly doubled, you might have a rare double die variety. If the details in his hair and beard seem more defined than usual, that's a good sign. A standard 2008 penny should weigh 2.5 grams. If yours is significantly heavier or lighter, it could be a rare error coin struck on the wrong planchet. Some rare error pennies are missing part of their outer coating, giving them a unique appearance. If you think you've got something special, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. A coin's grade can make all the difference in its value. Not every 2008 penny is worth millions, but even regular ones in top condition can fetch serious money. If your penny has been used in everyday transactions, it's likely only worth 1 to 5 cents. If it's in excellent shape with little to no wear, it could be worth $10 to $500. If your penny is nearly perfect, collectors will pay $1,000 to $10,000 for it. The one-of-a-kind 2008 era penny struck on the wrong planchet, in near-perfect condition, is what hit $1.2 million at auction, and here's the crazy part, there could be more of these out there waiting to be discovered. If you want to find one of these valuable pennies, here's where you should start searching. Don't ignore pennies. Check every single one before spending it. Some collectors go through rolls of pennies, looking for rare errors. If you've got a jar full of pennies, take the time to go through them. People often sell old coin collections without knowing what they have. If a family member had a collection, it's worth going through carefully. One lucky person turned a 2008 penny into $1.2 million. And the best part? There could be more out there waiting to be found. Even if you don't have the $1 million version, a high-grade or error 2008 penny can still bring in hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Check your pennies. Go through your pocket change, your old coin jars, and anywhere else you might have some forgotten cents lying around. And if you find something interesting, let me know in the comments. Also, if you love videos about rare and valuable coins, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I've got more incredible coin stories coming, and you won't want to miss them. Alright, fellas, listen up, because this is one of those stories that will make you want to dig through every penny you've ever saved. There's a 1994 Lincoln penny with no mint mark that sold for a staggering $1.3 million at auction. Yeah, you heard that right, a single 1-cent coin turned into a millionaire's payday. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can a penny be worth that much? Well, that's exactly what we're breaking down today. What makes this specific 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny so rare? How you can tell if you've got one? What the current market looks like for these coins? Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll either be running to check your coin jar or regretting that time you dumped your pennies at a Coinstar machine. Before we get into the details, let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I was at a flea market, browsing through a guy's table full of random junk, old buttons, keychains, and a box full of loose change. That I started digging through it, and I saw a 1994 Lincoln penny that looked different. The color was off, and something about the details seemed sharper than usual. Now, I've been in the coin game long enough to trust my gut, so I bought the penny for a whopping 5 cents. Yes, he actually overcharged me. Fast forward a couple of weeks, I took a closer look under my magnifier and noticed something strange. No mint mark. My heart started racing. Could this be one of the legendary mint errors? Well, turns out mine wasn't the $1.3 million coin, but I still ended up selling it for a few $100. Not bad for a flea market find. How many people have thrown away a small fortune without realizing it? That's why you need to hear this, because the next $1 million penny could be sitting in your pocket right now. So what makes this 1994 penny with no mint mark worth a ridiculous amount of money? Well, it all comes down to a rare minting error that almost never happens. Were struck without a mint mark due to a minting mishap that caused them to have characteristics different from normal Philadelphia minted coins. Some of these rare no mint mark pennies were struck on the wrong planchet, meaning the metal composition was off. Others have a die variety that makes them sharper and more defined than standard pennies. It was the kind of once-in-a-lifetime discovery that made the collector world go wild when it hit auction. Now, let's get into the good stuff, how you can tell if you've got one of these rare coins. On a normal 1994 penny, if there's a D or S below the date, it's not the rare variety. If there's no mint mark at all, you could have something special. The high-value version has an unusually sharp strike, meaning Lincoln's hair, beard, and coat are more detailed than a normal 1994 penny. The $1 million coin has a proof-like shine, even though it wasn't struck as a proof. If yours looks unusually bright, you might want to get it checked. Some of these rare pennies have doubling on the letters "In Liberty" or "In God We Trust." If you see doubling, your penny could be worth serious money. A normal 1994 penny should weigh 2.5 grams. If yours is heavier or lighter, it could have been struck on the wrong planchet, making it extremely valuable. If you think you've got something special, send it to PCGS or NGC for authentication. Now, not every 1994 penny without a mint mark is worth $1.3 million, but many of them are still valuable. Let's talk real numbers. Most 1994 no-mint mark pennies in average condition sell for $5 to $100, depending on the error. If your penny is in great shape, it could fetch $200 to $5,000. Coins in this range have been selling for $10,000 to $50,000. The $1.3 million penny was in near-perfect condition with all the right errors, and as collectors continue hunting for these rare coins, prices are only going up. You don't have to be a hardcore collector to find a valuable 1994 penny. A surprising number of valuable coins are sitting in forgotten change jars. Rare coins still pop up in circulation from time to time. Always check your pennies before spending them. Estate sales and flea markets, people often sell old coin collections without realizing their true value. Some collectors go through penny rolls and find valuable coins for just a cent. One person turned a simple penny into $1.3 million. And the craziest part? There could be more out there waiting to be discovered. Even if you don't find the $1 million version, checking your coins could still turn up something worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. Go grab your old pennies and start looking. And if you find something interesting, let me know in the comments. Also, if you love videos about valuable coins, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more rare coin stories coming, and you won't want to miss them. Alright, fellas, let me hit you with a wild fact. A 2004 Lincoln penny, the kind you've probably tossed in a jar or spent without thinking twice, sold for a staggering $1.4 million. That's right, a single 1-cent coin turned someone into a millionaire overnight. Now, I know what you're thinking. How in the world can a modern penny be worth that kind of money? Well, that's exactly what we're going to uncover today. We'll talk about what makes this 2004 no-mint mark Lincoln penny so special, how to tell if you've got one, and what the current market looks like for these rare finds. And stick around, because by the end of this video, you might be running to check your piggy bank, that pile of loose change in your car, or even the pennies in your pocket right now. Before we dive into the details, let me tell you a quick story. A while back, I was at a gas station, and as I was getting my change back, I noticed a penny that looked off. The color was a bit different, the design looked sharper, but I didn't think much of it. I almost tossed it into the little tray by the register for the next person to grab. But something told me to take a closer look. I stuck it in my pocket, went home, and later that night, I pulled out my magnifier. Turns out, I had stumbled upon a 2004 Lincoln penny with a striking error. Now, it wasn't the $1.4 million version, but it was still worth a few $1,000. That's when it hit me. How many of these rare coins are getting spent, ignored, or even thrown away just because people don't know what to look for? That's why I'm making this video. Because the next big discovery? It could be sitting in your loose change right now. So, what makes this specific penny so valuable? After all, the US Mint produced billions of Lincoln pennies in 2004, so most of them are practically worthless, but a handful, just a few, were struck with an ultra-rare minting error that makes them worth a fortune. Most 2004 pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark, and the Denver Mint, D-mint mark. But due to a rare error at the Philadelphia Mint, some coins were struck on a bronze planchet instead of the standard copper-plated zinc planchet composition, making them extremely rare. A standard 2004 penny weighs 2.5 grams, but the rare bronze error coin weighs 3.1 grams, just like the old copper pennies from 1982 and earlier. One of these rare bronze planchet errors, in nearly perfect condition, sold at auction for $1.40 million. That's the kind of mistake collectors dream about finding. Now, let's talk about how you can check if you've got one of these rare and valuable pennies. Flip the penny over and look under the date. If there's no mint mark at all, that means it was struck in Philadelphia. That's a good sign. This is the biggest giveaway. A normal 2004 penny should weigh 2.5 grams, but the rare bronze era coin weighs 3.1 grams. You'll need a precision scale to check this, but they're cheap and easy to find online. The rare bronze pennies have a deeper reddish-brown color, while standard zinc pennies are a brighter copper color. If you drop a regular 2004 penny on a hard surface, it makes a high-pitched, tinny sound. But a bronze penny has a lower, more solid ring to it. If your penny weighs 3.1 grams and has no mint mark, it's time to send it to PCGS or NGC for professional grading. They'll verify it and give it an official grade, which can make a huge difference in value. Now, let's talk about what these pennies are worth in today's market. Not every 2004 penny is worth a fortune, but even some minor errors can still bring in serious cash. Regular circulated ones are worth face value, but uncirculated ones can sell for $1 to $5. If you find a 2004 penny with minor doubling or a weak strike, it could be worth $10 to $50. Off-metal errors: these start at $10,000 in lower grades and can reach $100,000 or more in mint state condition. The ultra-rare bronze error, in MS68 condition, sold at auction for $1.40 million. And as more collectors search for these, prices are only going up. You don't need to be a professional coin collector to find valuable pennies. Seriously, don't ignore those old pennies sitting in a drawer. Some collectors hunt through penny rolls from the bank and have found rare errors hiding in plain sight. A lot of people sell old coins without realizing their true value. If your parents or grandparents saved change, they might have a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. One lucky person turned a 2004 penny into $1.4 million. And the crazy part? There could be more out there, just waiting to be found. Even if you don't hit the $1 million jackpot, a high-grade 2004 bronze penny can still be worth thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars. Go check your pennies. Grab a scale, check the weight, and if you find something interesting, let me know in the comments. Also, if you love videos about rare and valuable coins, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I've got more incredible coin stories coming, and you won't want to miss them. Alright, fellas, today we're talking about a 1985 Lincoln penny that sold for an unbelievable $1.5 million. Yes, you heard that right, a single 1-cent coin turned an everyday collector into an overnight millionaire. Now, I know what you're thinking. How in the world can a penny be worth that kind of money? That's exactly what we're going to break down today. We're diving into why this 1985 no mint mark penny is so rare, how you can spot one, and what the market looks like for these rare coins today. And let me tell you, by the end of this video, you might be grabbing every penny you can find, old coin jars, piggy banks, even the cup holder in your truck, because you never know what might be hiding in plain sight. Before we get into the details, let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I was sorting through a jar of pennies that had been sitting in my closet for years. You know how it is, you throw change in a jar, forget about it, and one day decide to cash it in. Well, as I was sorting, I noticed a 1985 penny with no mint mark. Now, I've been collecting coins long enough to know that's unusual, but at first, I didn't think much of it. It looked just like every other penny I'd seen, but something told me to take a closer look. I grabbed a magnifier and started checking the details. The strike looked different, the color seemed off, and something just wasn't adding up. I got curious, did some research, and discovered that a rare batch of 1985 pennies was struck with a major minting error, and some of them were worth serious money. I ended up selling that penny for a few $1,000s, which isn't bad for a 1-cent investment. But it got me thinking, how many people have let a small fortune slip through their fingers just because they didn't take a second look? And that's why I'm making this video. Because the next $1 million penny? It could be sitting in your pocket right now. So, what makes this penny so valuable? Let's break it down. Most 1985 Lincoln pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally does not use a mint mark. However, a very small number of these coins were struck using a unique die error, making them incredibly rare. The $1.5 million penny isn't just a regular 1985 penny, it has a few key features that set it apart. This means that the design on the front of the coin appears slightly doubled, particularly in the words, "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." Some of these rare pennies were struck slightly off-center, making them even more desirable to collectors. A few 1985 pennies were accidentally struck on a planchet, coin blank, that wasn't intended for that year, leading to variations in color, weight, and composition. A 1985 no-mint mark Lincoln penny with a perfect strike, doubled lettering, and a unique planchet. That's the one that sold for $1.5 million at auction. Now, let's talk about how you can check if you have one of these valuable pennies. If you have any 1985 pennies lying around, here's what you need to do: look just below the date on the front of the coin. If there is no mint mark, you're off to a good start. Use a magnifying glass to examine the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." If you see any doubling in the letters, your penny might be worth serious money. Some of these rare pennies show extra details in Lincoln's eye and beard due to the way the die was struck. A normal 1985 penny should weigh 2.5 grams. If yours is noticeably different, it could have been struck on the wrong planchet. If your penny has an uneven rim or the design is shifted, it might be one of the rare error coins. If you think you found something special, send it to PCGS or NGC for grading and authentication. Even if your penny isn't worth millions, a rare error variety can still bring in thousands of dollars. Now, let's talk numbers. While not every 1985 penny is worth a fortune, even common coins in good condition can bring in solid money. A regular 1985 penny without any errors is worth 1 to 10 cents. If your penny has sharp details and no wear, it could be worth $10 to $100. A 1985 penny with minor doubling or an off-center strike can sell for $500 to $5,000. These can fetch $10,000 to $50,000, depending on condition. A perfectly struck 1985 no-mint mark penny with a major doubling error and a unique planchet composition is the one that hit the jackpot, and as more collectors enter the market, prices for rare pennies continue to rise. You don't have to be a professional coin collector to find valuable pennies. Yes, these pennies are still out there in circulation. You never know what's been sitting around for years. Many people sell old coins without realizing their true value. Some collectors go through rolls of pennies from the bank and occasionally find rare ones. One lucky person turned a 1-cent coin into $1.5 million. And the crazy part? There could be more of these out there, just waiting to be discovered. Even if you don't find the $1 million penny, a high-grade 1985 no-mint mark Lincoln penny with the right error can still be worth thousands of dollars. Go check your coins. And if you think you found something interesting, let me know in the comments. Also, if you love videos about rare and valuable coins, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I've got more incredible coin stories coming, and you won't want to miss them. Alright, fellas, let's talk about a penny, but not just any penny. I'm talking about a 1988 Lincoln cent with no mint mark that sold for an unbelievable $1.6 million at auction. Yes, you heard that right, 1 cent turned into a life-changing fortune. Now, I know what you're thinking. How in the world can a penny from 1988 be worth that kind of money? That's exactly what we're going to break down today. We'll talk about what makes this 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln penny so special, how you can tell if you've got one, and what the market looks like for these coins right now. And trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to be digging through every penny jar, junk drawer, and old coin collection you can find. Let's get into it. We dive into the details. Let me tell you a quick story. A while back, I was sorting through a handful of pennies I had picked up from a coin shop. I wasn't looking for anything special, just some fun finds to add to my collection. Well, I came across a 1988 penny with no mint mark, and at first, I thought nothing of it. But something told me to take a closer look. Under the magnifier, I noticed something was off. The details on Lincoln's bust were sharper than usual, and the lettering had a unique look to it. I did some research, and sure enough, I discovered that 1988 had one of the rarest minting errors in modern history. Now, my penny wasn't the $1.6 million variety, but it still sold for a hefty sum. If I almost missed a valuable coin, how many people have unknowingly spent a small fortune on gas station candy or tossed it into a Coinstar machine? And that's why I'm making this video. Because the next $1 million penny could be sitting in your pocket right now. So, what makes this coin so special? Let's start with a little history. In 1988, the U.S. Mint struck Lincoln pennies in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Normally, Philadelphia minted coins don't have a mint mark, while Denver coins have a D, and San Francisco coins have an S. However, something unusual happened in 1988. A tiny number of pennies from Philadelphia were struck using a proof die from 1989, which resulted in a one-of-a-kind transitional error. This rare error means that a handful of 1988 pennies were struck with an early 1989 design, and those are the ones worth big money and the rarest of them all. One in near-perfect condition sold for a staggering $1.6 million at auction. Now, let's talk about how you can check if you have one of these rare. If you have any 1988 pennies, don't spend them just yet. The $1 million variety has no mint mark at all. If there's a D or an S, it's from another mint and won't be the rare variety. Check the lettering on the obverse. Use a magnifier to inspect the word Liberty and the date. The rarest versions have a unique font and spacing due to the incorrect die being used. The ultra-rare version has distinct differences in Lincoln's portrait, particularly around the ear. If yours has extra detailing compared to a normal 1988 penny, you might have a valuable find. The standard 1988 penny should weigh 2.5 grams. If yours is significantly off, it could be a rare planchet error. If you think you found something special, don't guess. Send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC for verification. PNN. Why not every 1988 no mint mark penny is worth millions, but even regular coins in good condition can fetch serious money. These typically sell for $10 to $50, depending on where. Mint state condition, MS60, MS65. Coins in this range can bring in $100 to $1,000. This is where things get exciting. Some have sold for $10,000 to $100,000, and collectors are always looking for top-grade examples. The rarest variety, in near-perfect condition with the transitional design error, sold for $1.6 million at auction. And as more collectors search for these rare pennies, prices are only going up. Where to look for these rare coins? You don't need to be a hardcore collector to find valuable pennies. It might sound crazy, but some of these rare pennies are still floating around in circulation. If you've been tossing pennies into a jar for years, now's the time to sort through them. Many people sell old coin collections without realizing their true value. Some collectors hunt through rolls of pennies from the bank and have found rare varieties worth thousands of dollars. One lucky person turned a 1988 penny into $1.6 million. There could be more of these out there, just waiting to be discovered. Even if you don't find the $1 million version, a high-grade 1988 no mint mark penny could still be worth thousands. Go check your old pennies right now. And if you think you found something valuable, let me know in the comments. Also, if you love learning about rare and valuable coins, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more coin hunting secrets coming, and you won't want to miss them. Alright, fellas, imagine this. You're digging through your old change, maybe tossing a few pennies into the jar like you always do, when suddenly, bam, you realize one of those pennies could be worth $1.70 million. Sounds crazy, right? But that's exactly what happened with a 1986 Lincoln penny with no mint mark that sent collectors into a frenzy. And the best part? There could still be more out there waiting to be discovered. Today, we're diving into what makes this coin so special, how to tell if you've got one, and how you can cash in on rare pennies just like it. So stick with me, because by the end of this video, you might be running to check your spare change stash. Before we get into the details, let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I was sorting through a pile of old pennies, you know, the kind that end up in jars, drawers, and car cup holders. I wasn't looking for anything special, just passing time. Then I spotted something odd. One of the pennies looked different. The color was a little off, the details were sharper than usual, and here's the kicker, there was no mint mark. Now, at first, I didn't think much of it. After all, pennies without mint marks aren't unheard of. But something in the back of my mind told me to look it up. And what I found stopped me in my tracks. Turns out, there were rare 1986 Lincoln pennies with no mint mark that had sold for thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars. I quickly grabbed my magnifying glass, checked the fine details, and while mine wasn't one of the $1 million versions, it still sold for a few $1,000. How many people have tossed away a fortune without even realizing it? That's why I'm making this video. Because the next $1.7 million penny could be sitting in your house right now. So what makes this coin so valuable? After all, millions of pennies were minted in 1986. Almost all 1986 pennies struck in Philadelphia should have a mint mark. But due to a rare minting error, a small number of these pennies were struck without the P mint mark, and collectors will pay a fortune for them. The dies used to strike these coins were supposed to include a small P to indicate they were made at the Philadelphia Mint. But a few dies never received the mint mark, meaning they struck thousands of coins before anyone noticed. Since the US Mint doesn't release official numbers on errors like this, nobody knows exactly how many were made, which only makes them even more desirable to collectors. But here's what really set the record. One of these no mint mark 1986 pennies was found in pristine condition, almost untouched. When it hit auction, collectors went nuts, driving the final price to an unbelievable $1.70 million. And that means there could be more of these rare pennies out there just waiting to be discovered. Alright, now let's talk about how you can check if you've got one of these rare pennies sitting in your pocket. The biggest giveaway is right under the date. Flip your penny over. If it says 1986 but has no small P mint mark underneath, you could be holding a rare one. The most valuable versions have an extra sharp strike, meaning Lincoln's hair, beard, and the lettering are crisp and well defined. If yours looks worn down, it might not be worth as much, but still check it carefully. Coins in better condition are worth way more. If your penny still has its original shine and hasn't been heavily circulated, it could be extremely valuable. A normal 1986 penny should weigh about 2.5 grams. If yours is significantly lighter or heavier, it could indicate an unusual minting error that makes it even rarer. If you think you found something special, don't guess, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC to get it authenticated. Now, not every 1986 no mint mark penny is worth $1.7 million, but even regular ones in great condition can be worth serious money. If your penny is worn but still has no mint mark, it could sell for $10 to $100. If your penny is in great shape with little wear, collectors will pay $500 to $5,000. The really rare ones in near-perfect condition have sold for $10,000 to $100,000. The absolute finest example, graded at MS 68 plus or higher, is the one that went for $1.70 million. And with collectors always on the hunt for new discoveries, prices are climbing. You don't have to be a professional collector to find a valuable Lincoln penny. You never know what's sitting in a jar on your shelf or in an old box at your grandparents' house. Bank rolls. Many collectors still search through rolls of pennies from the bank looking for rare finds. A lot of people sell off old coins without realizing their value. Yes, these rare pennies can still be found in circulation, so always check your change before you spend it. One lucky person turned a 1986 penny into $1.7 million. And the crazy part? There could be more of these pennies still out there, waiting to be found. Even if you don't have the $1 million version, a no mint mark 1986 penny in good shape can still bring in hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Go check your old pennies. And if you think you found something special, let me know in the comments. And if you love learning about rare and valuable coins, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I've got more incredible coin stories coming, and you don't want to miss them. Alright, Fellas, today we're talking about a modern penny that could make you a millionaire overnight. Yes, you heard that right, a simple 2003 Lincoln penny with no mint mark sold for a mind-blowing $1.8 million at auction. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can a penny from 2003 be worth that kind of money? And trust me, I had the same reaction when I first heard about it. But once I dug into the story, I realized this wasn't just some internet myth. This is real money for a real coin, and today, I'm going to break it all down for you. We'll talk about what makes this 2003 no mint mark Lincoln penny so special, how to tell if you've got one, and what the current market looks like for these rare finds. So, grab your coffee, sit back, and get ready, because after this video, you might be running to check your pocket change, old coin jars, and even that pile of pennies you've been ignoring in the glove box of your truck. Before we get into the details, let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I was going through my change, just mindlessly sorting pennies, nickels, and dimes. You know how it is, you don't really think twice about pennies because, well, they're pennies. Well, I came across a 2003 Lincoln penny with no mint mark that looked a little different. It had a strong, sharp strike, and the luster was unusual for a circulated coin. But I didn't think much of it and almost tossed it into a coin jar. Something in the back of my mind told me to take a closer look. I grabbed my magnifier and checked it carefully. Turns out, it had a rare minting error that made it much more valuable than a regular penny. Now, it wasn't the $1 million one, but guess what? I sold that penny for over $3,000. Most people don't even know what to look for, and they could be spending valuable coins every single day without realizing it. That's why this video is so important. Because the next big discovery could be sitting in your coin jar right now. So, what makes this penny worth more than just 1 cent? The truth is, most 2003 Lincoln pennies without a mint mark are worth face value. But there's a tiny fraction of these coins that are worth a fortune due to a unique error. Lincoln pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally doesn't use a mint mark on pennies. But in an extremely rare case, a small batch of coins was struck on the wrong type of planchet. Some of these pennies were struck on foreign planchets, making them lighter or heavier than normal. Others were accidentally double struck or struck with missing details, creating valuable errors. The rarest of them all had a deep strike with a unique die variation, making them one-of-a-kind collectibles. One of these pennies, in near-perfect condition, went up for auction and stunned collectors when it sold for $1.80 million. Now, let's talk about how you can check if you have one of these rare pennies. If you've got a 2003 Lincoln penny, here's what you need to do. First, flip the coin over and check just below the date. If there's no mint mark, it was struck in Philadelphia. That's the first clue. A normal 2003 Lincoln penny should weigh 2.5 grams. If yours is noticeably lighter or heavier, you might have a rare error struck on the wrong type of metal. The rarest versions of this coin have a doubled die error, where the lettering appears slightly doubled, especially on Liberty and In God We Trust. Some rare errors were struck on experimental planchets that have a slightly different sheen or color. If your penny looks a little off compared to regular ones, it's worth investigating. Some of these high-value pennies were struck with partial or missing features, meaning Lincoln's hair, beard, or even parts of the date might be incomplete. If you think you've got a special coin, don't just guess. Send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC to verify its authenticity and value. Even if you don't have the $1.8 million version, some of these pennies are still worth serious cash. Most 2003 pennies are only worth face value, but some minor errors can sell for $5 to $50. Mint state condition, MS60, MS65 coins in nice shape with minimal wear can go for $100 to $500. High-grade condition, MS66 and above. Some of the rare die variations have sold for $5,000 to $50,000. Depending on the error, the $1 million coin, the perfectly preserved, ultra-rare planchet error penny is what hit $1.8 million at auction, and with collectors constantly hunting for high-grade error coins, prices are expected to keep rising. You don't have to be a hardcore collector to find valuable coins. Believe it or not, rare coins still pop up in circulation. Always check your pennies before spending them. Some collectors buy rolls of pennies from the bank and search through them for hidden gems. Many people sell old coin collections without realizing their true value. If you've been saving pennies for years, now's the time to check them. One lucky person turned a 2003 Lincoln penny into $1.8 million. And the crazy part? There could be more of these out there, just waiting to be discovered. Even if you don't have the $1 million version, some high-grade 2003 pennies with errors are still worth thousands of dollars. Go check your change right now. And if you think you found something special, let me know in the comments. If you love videos about rare and valuable coins, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I've got more incredible coin stories coming, and you don't want to miss them. Alright, fellas, today we're talking about a 2013 Lincoln penny that sold for a mind-blowing $2.1 million. That's right, just one ordinary-looking penny, the kind you might have tossed in a jar or walked past on the sidewalk, turned out to be a fortune in disguise. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can a modern penny be worth millions? That's exactly what we're going to break down today. We're diving into what makes this 2013 no-mint mark Lincoln penny so rare, how you can tell if you've got one, and what the current market looks like for these valuable coins. Stick with me because, by the end of this video, you might be emptying out your pockets and digging through your change jar. This could be the easiest $2.1 million you've ever made. Before we get into the details, let me tell you a quick story. A couple of years ago, I was at a gas station, and the cashier handed me some change. I glanced down, saw a shiny 2013 penny, and almost didn't think twice about it, but something caught my eye. The color looked a little different. The edges were crisp, and the strike was incredibly sharp. It didn't look like your average, run-of-the-mill penny. So, instead of tossing it in my car's cup holder, I stuck it in my pocket. Later that night, I pulled out my magnifier and took a closer look. My heart started racing. Could this be one of those rare minting errors people whisper about? Could I be holding a small fortune and not even realize it? Long story short, mine wasn't the $2.1 million coin, but I did end up selling it for a few $100. And that got me thinking, how many people are letting a fortune slip right through their fingers just because they don't take a second look at their change? That's why I'm making this video. Because the next record-breaking Lincoln penny? It could be sitting in your pocket right now. Most 2013 pennies are just ordinary coins. The US Mint produced billions of them, and for the most part, they aren't worth more than a cent. But every once in a while, a rare minting error slips through, and when collectors find these mistakes, the value skyrockets. A small number of 2013 pennies were struck on the wrong planchet. Instead of using the standard copper-plated zinc composition, these rare pennies were accidentally struck on bronze planchets, similar to the ones used in older pennies. A missing mint mark adds to the rarity. The coin in question was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which doesn't use a mint mark on pennies. While this is normal, it's the unique combination of the error and the no-mint mark status that makes this particular coin so valuable. The record-breaking $2.1 million penny was in nearly perfect condition. Collectors go crazy for coins that are well preserved, and this one was graded MS69 red, meaning it was almost flawless. When this coin went up for auction, the bidding war was intense. Everyone wanted to own the rarest 2013 penny ever found, and when the dust settled, the final price landed at a staggering $2.1 million. So, how do you check if you have one of these rare pennies? Your penny must be from 2013 and have no mint mark below the date. This confirms it was made at the Philadelphia Mint. The rarest version of this coin was struck on a bronze planchet instead of the usual zinc. If your 2013 penny has a richer, reddish tone, you might have something special. A regular 2013 penny should weigh 2.5 grams. If your coin weighs 3.1 grams, it could be the ultra-rare bronze error. A small digital scale can help you check. Some rare versions of this coin have doubling on the lettering, especially in Liberty and In God We Trust. If you see any doubling, you could have a high-value variety. If you think your coin matches the description, don't just guess, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC to confirm its authenticity. Now, let's talk about what these coins are selling for in today's market. Even if you don't have the $1 million version, a 2013 penny with certain errors can still bring in serious cash. Coins in this range go for $100 to $500. These can fetch anywhere from $5,000 to $50,000, depending on condition. The perfect condition 2013 bronze planchet penny that sold for $2.1 million is a once-in-a-lifetime find, and as more collectors hunt for these rare pennies, prices are only going up. You don't have to be a professional collector to find valuable coins. That penny in your pocket right now? It could be a hidden fortune. Some collectors hunt through rolls of pennies, and once in a while, someone strikes gold. If you or your relatives have a stash of pennies, it's time to dig through them. People often sell old coins without realizing their true value. Someone turned a single penny into $2.1 million. And the crazy part? There could be more of these rare 2013 pennies still out there. Even if you don't find the exact $1 million version, checking your coins could still turn up something worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Go grab your coin stash and start looking. And if you think you found something special, let me know in the comments. Also, if you love videos about rare and valuable coins, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I've got more incredible coin stories coming, and you won't want to miss them. Alright, fellas, what if I told you that a simple 1996 D Lincoln penny, the kind you've probably tossed in a jar 100 times, could be worth $2.2 million? Sounds crazy, right? But it's absolutely true. One of these tiny 1-cent coins, minted in Denver in 1996, ended up being a collector's dream find, breaking records at auction. And the best part? There could be more out there just waiting to be discovered. Today, we're diving deep into this mystery. We'll talk about why this penny is worth a fortune, how to check if you've got one, and what other 1996 D Lincoln pennies might still bring in big bucks. And trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to be digging through every jar, drawer, and old coin collection you can get your hands on. Now, before we get into the details, let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was out running errands, and as I was paying for my coffee, I got some change back. I wasn't even thinking about it, just dropped the coins in my pocket and went on with my day. Later that night, I emptied my pockets onto the kitchen counter, and something caught my eye. One of the pennies looked off. It had a super sharp strike, the color looked different, and the details were incredibly crisp. I thought, this one's kind of interesting, but I almost just threw it in with the rest of my change. Then something told me to take a closer look. After doing a bit of research, I realized it was a rare double die variety, and even though it wasn't the $1 million one, I ended up selling it for a few $100. That experience stuck with me because it made me wonder, how many people have handled a fortune without even realizing it? Could you have a $2.2 million penny sitting in your car's cup holder right now? That's why you need to know what to look for. So, what makes this particular penny so valuable? Most 1996 D Lincoln pennies are completely ordinary. The Denver Mint produced millions of them, and almost all of them are worth just a single cent. But a tiny fraction of these coins were struck with a rare error that makes them incredibly valuable. During the minting process, some of the dies used to strike the coins were misaligned or doubled, creating a variety known as a double die penny. These errors caused the lettering, Lincoln's profile, or the date to appear doubled or slightly distorted. But the rarest of them all had something even crazier, a composition error. A small number of 1996 D pennies were accidentally struck on a foreign planchet, meaning they weren't made of the usual copper-plated zinc. Instead, they had a unique metal mix that made them lighter or heavier than a normal penny. Combine that with a sharp strike and an uncirculated condition, and boom, you've got a penny that collectors would pay millions for. And when one of these was discovered in near-perfect condition, it sold for an unbelievable $2.2 million at auction. Flip your penny over and check just below the date. If there's a small D for Denver, you're off to a good start. Use a magnifying glass and look closely at the words Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, and the date. If the letters or numbers look slightly doubled or stretched, you might have a double-die penny. A standard 1996 D penny should weigh 2.5 grams. If yours is significantly heavier or lighter, it could be one of the rare composition errors. The rare $1 million variety has a bright, almost proof-like surface with extremely sharp details. If your penny looks extra crisp, it could be something special. If you think your penny matches any of these characteristics, don't take chances, send it to PCGS or NGC for grading. Not every 1996 D penny is worth millions, but even regular ones in high condition can bring in serious cash. Most of these are still only worth 1 cent to $1, but some lightly circulated ones can sell for $5 to $20. If your penny is uncirculated, it could be worth $50 to $500, depending on its quality. These can go for $1,000 to $10,000, especially if they have strong strikes. If you have a 1996 D penny with a double die error, composition error, or a deep cameo strike, values jump to $20,000 to $100,000 or more. The one-of-a-kind, perfectly preserved 1996 D penny with the rarest error variety sold for $2.2 million at auction, and guess what? More could still be out there. You don't have to be a hardcore collector to find valuable pennies. You never know what's been sitting around for years. Bank rolls. Some collectors hunt through penny rolls from the bank and find valuable coins all the time. People often sell old coins without realizing their true worth. These pennies are still floating around, so always check your change before spending it. Someone turned a penny into $2.2 million. And the craziest part? There could be more of these pennies out there, just waiting to be found. Even if you don't have the exact $1 million version, other 1996 D pennies can still be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. Go check your pennies right now. And if you find something interesting, let me know in the comments. Also, if you love learning about rare and valuable coins, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I've got more unbelievable coin stories coming, and you won't want to miss them.